This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
Gorgeous work from Aspas towards Marv. Ye still stands, and Ye delivering again. He's not stopping. Ye is not stopping. Aspas can do so much damage. That two already trying to go. Gets it going. Ye though. Whoa! Ye! Big players make big plays in big games, and he just did. Here's the play. Aspas, he is making himself such a problem. Ye's gonna not do anything about it. Ye on the mega out, ready to save the day again. Aspas still standing, and just so well, punishing Ye. Aspas though, good for one.
Oh my God.
Good for two. Aspas.
Today, Aspas and El Diablo meet for the first time since the 2022 Valorant Champions Grand Final. Two legends are going to enter the ring once again, and someone is going to be getting thrown over the top rope, baby, because it's Royal Rumble Day. And better be ready. There's going to be a lot of wrestling references today because I'm here working, and that means I'm not watching my beautiful professional wrestling. But it's okay because there's nowhere else I'd rather be than right here with you.
I swear
people.
only you could make the return of Ye versus Aspas about wrestling somehow. That's crazy, man.
I mean, hello, that's literally a wrestling promo come to life. I mean that's a feud come to life. Am I off the goop here? But in any case, folks, I'm Golden Boy. You got Vansili. Emily's back with us again, as well as Ender to talk about all things going on because we got some great matches. And let's go and dive into what we saw yesterday because we were in our upper bracket world and we had a couple of bangers set out, on our sites, but one of them in particular, definitely delivered. And that was Loud versus Sentinels. Ender, what a match we saw between these two teams.
Yeah, this was just wild. Super close throughout the entire thing. I think Cowan Zine was playing completely out of his mind on the Scout agents. The amount of multi-frags fans was next level.
Cowan Zine, you also have DG Zine as well. They threw me off guard. Going into this game, I thought it was going to be a 2-0 for Sentinels. Sentinels continues with some shaky starts here and there, but Loud definitely are a team to look out for in this bracket.
That's right. Then we move forward, Emily, to G2 versus Leviathan. We weren't sure what we were going to get out of Lev here, but we knew G2 were coming into this one feeling quite confident. That's exactly what they showed us yesterday. How do you feel about G2 in this particular
played
situation?
phenomenal yesterday.
Yeah.
I was super happy. I do have to give Lev the benefit of the doubt because I think Lev had amazing calling yesterday. Vinny on top, but it was crazy to see G2 play.
Yeah. If anything on Leviathan, I love the role changes that came through from the tank playing over to the Raze on Fracture. So it kind of goes back to like the old school EG style where you have Demon 1 that could be comfortable in these roles if somehow Leviathan gets a continuous shaky bracket that they could revert towards those type of compositions.
Yeah, I mean, I do like it seeing what the improvements they made on Fracture, but I do have some concerns similar to the start of last year around like what Demon 1 is going to be playing because that first map, went for the Yoru and Leaf just had his number the entire time. Like the guy could not find an opening kill.
Well, it's a bit of right head-to-head we're talking about. We're talking about Joggable and him first, and it's just Leaf to fit him.
Literally, but like I do think this Leviathan team needs to find a Demon 1 that gets his mojo back if they're going to actually be a team that can contest with the top and I believe, put up those good performances.
Yeah, couldn't agree more on that one. Well, let's take a gander at the bracket and where we are in the competition. We got some big matches on the horizon for us here, especially that upper bracket match between Sentinels and G2. That'll be taking place at a later date. But today, we got EG, MIBR, NRG versus Crew. And of course, the winners of those games will meet the teams who lost yesterday, Leviathan and Loud. Lots of great games.
Dude, I just love the irony that last year's kickoff, Sentinels versus G2, was the ultimate meme match that didn't mean anything. And now it could just be our best two teams.
That is actually wild.
The good old turtle.
What a year makes, right? Like how long that goes. Oh boy. All right, well, let's go ahead and shift some gears to today's first matchup because, folks, we're going to be running it back, okay, with 2022's best head-to-head matchup, Aspas versus Ye. Now, these guys, Emily, were trading blows, blow for blow all last year. The talent is is unreal. You as a player, have you looked at those players to draw inspiration from, especially during that time in 2022 when these guys were on top of the world?
Oh, for sure I have. I think the meta was completely different though, and in my opinion, I think Aspas kind of took Ye's spot as one of the best players in the world. Like, Ye really thrived in that slower pace kind of chamber meta, where Aspas mostly thrives in all the chaos, having the double innie support, and I just don't think it's comparable anymore.
I think that's pretty awesome. At some point in 2022, and you try to compare it to 2025, yes, the meta has changed, but where it draws similarity is what you just mentioned, Emily. The fact that back then, Ye was top of the leaderboard as a chamber player, but you still had Aspas playing the Jet. This could still happen today in this game. EG has been trying out this chamber on to Ye, for example, as well as on certain maps. So you might still have similar playstyles, at least when it comes down to firepower and a head-to-head for Duelist versus Ye as a Sentinel role.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at these two players, these players at their peak, obviously, and still now have the skill to be some of the best players at just taking fights individually. Right? Like, they don't need to have like the supportive utility behind them always. Of course, Aspas diving into a side is going to look even better, but I think especially where Ye looks his best is on agents like the chamber, even the Phoenix where he can do the supportive plays himself. Like, he can find those windows and not rely on his teammates all the time. That's where he thrives.
Well, let's dive into Aspas a little bit further here, because look, he had a little bit of a slow start at the beginning of kickoff, right? And there's a lot of hype for this MIBR team, people over the moon for them. And even though Aspas had moments of brilliance, without a doubt, he always does, you needed to see a little bit more cohesion out of the team, which is exactly what we got when we saw them take the stage a second time.
Well, I think it's also cap and fake news that Aspas had a slow start in the first series, because He's just dropping 20 on Vine, so he's still in great form as a star duelist for this team. But I do agree that when you're looking at the composition of MIBR, they still have two new rookies going into this roster, being tested on the big stage, where you're looking at Aspas's supporting crew from last, like Leviathan or for Loud. There's a lot of cohesion, star power, and players that have such good map awareness that allows Aspas to really shine. But as you've mentioned, GB, I do agree, that second series, there was a lot more cohesion going into MIBR as a team.
Yeah, and if you're going to talk about Leviathan, I think one of the things that made them so good, especially early on in stage one, was how, especially on the defensive side, Aspas was able to play his own game, how they called those rounds where he was constantly in new positions. Again, wasn't always getting tons of utility, but out of the Leviathan default, he was always able to find those angles with an operator, and I think that MIBR are going to be doing similar things to make sure that he is always finding his mark on that defense.
Well, I think what also helps this MIBR team is that outside of, yes, you're talking about the two rookies coming in, and then you also have a powerhouse in Aspas, but you also have a lot of talent in Noswar, who in that last series really showed up big time. And Emily, I think it's safe to say, like, when this guy is performing at a high level alongside the rest of the team, everything kind of just coalesces around him and comes together.
For sure. I think, honestly, as long as one of the other players on MIBR besides Aspas pop off, I think they could take it. I really do.
Oh, bold prediction there. I love it.
If someone else pops off besides Aspas, it can't just be him.
Yeah, of course.
And I think this is where it's good familiarity for Aspas as well, because we talk about initiators that really support him into roles. You think about Kawadzine over at Loud before, then Calm, for example, going to Leviathan. Now Noswar inside and also outside of the server are good friends, and you have that chemistry that allows Noswar to really set up Aspas in these moments.
And the setup to me is less about like micro of like flash setups. To me, it really is information, because I think if Aspas is on a team that calls a good macro game, he is going to give you the results to win out those games when he knows which angles he's going to be taking. So when Noswar is finding good cycles of his info utility, when he's scouting out the other team and saying, hey, Aspas, you can step up into this other space on the map, I think that's really where they're going to thrive, and Noswar, the right guy for that.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of pieces here for MIBR, right? There's individuals through and through that you really can continue to put
5 of them
on.
at least.
Yeah, 5, well, for sure. 5 at the very least.
Yeah,
6
they
actually.
have a coach too.
6 maybe, the coach. You never know. But I to continue focusing on individuals, right? Because I think MIBR came into the season with so much hype, everyone was like, oh, this team's going to destroy, they're going to be nasty. And one of the players that people were really focusing on was Shanam as well, right? They were really leaning on him, saying like, oh, this kid's going to be nasty as well. Do we feel like, this was the game that he needed last week, right? Obviously there's still more to see here.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
100%, because if you're looking at that second series when they played against Cloud9, yes, maybe not the best first map, but the other two maps going 0-1 or 1-0 in first bloods and first death, but still dropping double digits in terms of kills and assists. So when it comes down to that supporting role and needing the clutch, dude, he was ice cold going into those games.
No, he has been so fun to watch perform, especially with the whole clutch. It's like he is the clutch player for that team. And it's also been fun to see him whip out like attack off, for example. That has been a blast.
Yeah, pretty wild though. Like, you know, now he's in that position. It's just started. The season just started. He's finding himself in that spot. Lots to ask for a young player.
Lots to ask for, but it also comes after that quick expectations reset, because the debut of MIBR, like Cortez and Shanam were supposed to like dominate, right? We were so excited about them as prospects coming to the league, and that did not show up in their first performance. So to bounce back strongly is one step in the right direction, but I need to see that continued growth out of these players for MIBR to live up to the expectations at the start of the year, which were massive.
Yeah, massive expectations. But of course, you got the talent on the team. All across the board is certainly doable for this squad. But let's go ahead and send it over to Elizabeth and hear from the gentleman we were just talking about, is Shanam.
Shanam, you have had standout performances this entire split. Do you think you can keep this up in a team with Aspas with your lower bracket run?
Com certeza. Acho que meu desempenho ainda não está nem perto do que eu quero chegar. Então, eu estou dando o meu melhor para isso. Eu tenho certeza que ter o Aspas no time dificulta muito o desempenho assim dos individuais dos outros times. Mas estou muito confiante. Então, tenho certeza que eu vou melhorar muito ao longo do campeonato e estar melhor ainda para o VCT Americas.
Yeah, 100%. I am still not even close to what I want to show. And having Aspas in the team, it makes it really difficult for everyone to perform the way they want to. But I'm very confident for the rest of the season.
Best of luck. Obrigado.
Shanam feels like he hasn't shown everything that he possibly can. But you have to kind of take away from that the pressure of playing with Aspas, I guess, is weighing on them, if I'm understanding that.
I mean, it's a lot of star power that you're playing with, right? Players that you look up to, just like Emily, for example, you mentioned before. And Shanam grinding in that Tier 2 scene, probably Aspas was going to be one of those players he's looking to probably topple down, but now he gets to play with them. There's a lot of pressure going on for that. But if he says that, you know, you haven't seen the best of me yet, I can't wait for the era of the Shanomenon.
No.
Hey, just go next.
Wow.
That was good. Come on, give me a little bit.
This is why we have violence in the world. You understand?
That's crazy. I don't know if I'm endorsing that.
I'm trying to add more fluff to this thing with these dad jokes, man.
Oh, what are you going to say, Ender?
Oh my. There you go. Thank you.
So there's this guy named Icy, is the thing. Yeah, it's really smooth transition.
Yeah.
And I just want to talk about him.
Well, let's talk about EG.
Yeah, let's talk about EG.
Let's get
is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Speaking of violence,
Yes.
what they did in their last match. I mean, Icy came out and this guy was flying. Like genuinely, I have been waiting a long time to see this Icy guy that, like, last year, G2 was saying this guy's dropping 40s in every single scrim, and we hadn't seen that until this match. He was absolutely frying. I think both with the op in hand and entering with the rifle, he was looking excellent and consistent over the maps they played.
Yeah, it feels like this is exactly what Icy needed, Emily. I want to pick your brain as a pro player. Talk about that mentality of like, hey, you were just on this team where you were kind of scapegoated a little bit on like the results and the fans and all that stuff. It was a heavy time for him. But now he has a massive opportunity. How do you, as a player, kind of reconcile with that? Are you able to like push that stuff to the side, use it as ammo to be able to build yourself up, kind of like what we're hoping Icy could do?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of pressure. Like, he is the duelist player. He is expected to fill that star player role, and he's going up like against really good players such as Aspas. But I think the Zoomer potential in him will come out.
He's got to unleash the Zoomer.
He'll unleash the Zoomer. He'll get his confidence, and I'm just excited to see how it all plays out.
That's some top tier now. I like that. Unleash the Zoomer.
I mean, look, if you want to talk about Zoomers, let me speak your language here. Boomers.
See.
I'm ready to come on. There's two of us.
What has worked for me, what I think has been working for Evil Geniuses, is how well Icy and Ye have been coordinating their fights together. I think this is directly attributable to what Potter Potter has done with them. Because when I see Icy last year, I see a guy that was very often just out on his own going into sites. Like, remember when G2 was playing like the solo Yoru on Bind?
Yeah.
And this guy's just diving to sites, his team is in spawn, and now he's dead. No, the way, especially defensively, Ye and Icy are baiting out angles for each other, trading one another. It seems very intentional. They're putting two of their best fighters hand in hand with one another, and it's working in a lot of their defensive positioning.
And adding different layers onto it as well. When they are such a strong force together, they could also play individually across maps. And to have extra firepower such as Ye, that's going to play with Phoenix, for example, on Pearl. You're afraid of this guy. He's going to be self-sufficient. So the game plan around what Potter builds into funneling their opponents right into Icy that could just stand still with an operator and get those multi-kills and anchor up and put up those numbers for EG on the defensive side, it's a good plan.
And I would say for anyone that like wants to see specifically what I'm talking about, just go watch their defensive side on Split. That EG have played, especially what they do around A main and in mid. That comboing of like baiting out one player in vents, one player in mail is really, really nice to watch.
Yeah, you can certainly see Potter's efficiency coming into play here with this team. Yeah, it really, and it has been awesome to watch. You know, she has so many options available to her as well. Like Superman, for example. I've always been a big fan of this player. It's funny because he's like, you know, the rookie, but now definitely not. Right? This guy's veteran. He's been in the game for a minute now, and it truly does embody the Man of Steel without a doubt, because he definitely came into this one, I think, with a lot of expectations. But I think that Superman, you know, if this guy finds his groove, will be scary for everyone else in the server to have to deal with.
I think he already has, and I think there's a reason why Potter picked Superman into this roster. I mean, she was trying to take him back when he was in the FaZe clan once upon a time, and the reason is because his utility is so good. If you watch back for those games as how he plays a controller, he actually plays some good forward positions, plays smokes right on boxes, front sights, plays in front of those angles, pixel angles to also anchor up those spots. And when he needs to fight, get a one and done, he'll play a round of his smokes, inside of his smokes, just to make sure that at least he fulfills his job to even up the tally if he dies, so that it's at least a 4-on-4 for the rest of the team.
Yeah, but I guess like when I look at the stats and everything, I know what Superman is capable of, but we also seen this EG team struggle a little bit in this kickoff here. So how do you get past that? How do you ensure that when you get into this game, you're basically full steam ahead?
Honestly, I think it's about making sure that Ye and Icy are working, because I think like if they're not, this EG team, I think is going to fall completely flat, right? Of course, when I say that, Superman, Derek, Nature, they all have some star power behind them. They're not the flashy players that are getting kills at start of rounds, but they are reliable late in rounds. But I do think it's very important that from the beginning of rounds, Ye and Icy are set up in good positions to fight, whether that's going to be the calling from Potter or the util from a guy like Supa that you're talking about. It really is those two players that are going to be playing these agents that won a lot of fights early on that need kills.
You know what I find really fascinating about this, and then we'll move on, but Emily, I wanted to bring you in on this, was where I see 5 players here who have a lot of potential, can go quite far. Where do you see this EG roster potentially pushing toward? Because I believe that the talent is there. It needs to be activated, it needs to be flourished, or rather fostered. What's your take on it?
I think it's just finding their footing, right? Like you said, the Icy and Zero has to perform, but I also think we can't just rely on them. Like, I think there's 3 other really good, strong players, phenomenal at their roles, especially for Superman. I think he's an amazing controller. I definitely look up to him when I was playing too. And I think they really, they just still got to find their footing, but I don't think it's impossible.
I feel like they are able to find these footings at the beginning of the games. They have a good game plan. You're thinking about Potter here, right? They're footings, because there's a lot of footings going in. It's a foot soldier, it's a foot clan. We're going Ninja Turtles or something. That's it. Potter always has a good game plan and it's sound, right? And they just need to find that confidence to close out those maps, because you look at all of their games there, they have a lead. They're able to almost close it out. It's like 11-5 lead, 11-7 lead. What happens? They lose into overtime. They lose 13-11. So it's just like once the opponents start catching up, they can't falter into the, oh crap, they are really coming in and closing the gap. And then suddenly you're seeing players that are missing their simple duels, even if they get first shot. So I want this confidence to continue from A to Z so that they could really get a strong victory against MIBR.
Problem is, if Aspas ends up popping off, that confidence kind of starts to fade away a little bit, but we'll see how that plays out. For now, though, it's actually here from the IGL of Evil Geniuses, who's standing by with Elizabeth.
Nature, I want to talk to you about your IGL. You're the IGL of Evil Geniuses. Can you talk to me about how Potter has led you to become a better IGL?
I would say Coach would like what we focus on the most is trying to prepare for like everything. You know, this game is so crazy, so many things can happen. So she just focuses on tiny details like everywhere in the gameplay to help me focus on just understand like this can happen, so we're ready for that. Every single thing is like a protocol for us. Like we're super ready for anything.
Well, looking at your comments videos, from what we can see from your leadership, is that you have a pretty emotional style of leadership. Not very like curt or direct, but you are really an emotional leader for the team. Why go that route versus a more curt, direct route?
Okay, I would say I can be direct when I need to be, but to be like emotional, show passion and stuff is like kind of what makes teams, I would say, and that's why I focus on that side of things. I want my teammates to be as passionate as I am in the server, out of the server, everything like that, because I think that's when you play the best. I'm sorry. So like, I think the best teams are always vibing, even in the most stressful situations when they're like playing not so well, stuff like that. But they know that, and they can like conquer it when they're playing their best.
Well, best of luck today.
Thank you.
Nice to get some insight there from EG, but now Vans and I are going to do a little bit of our own and try to figure out how to play like EG, especially on their Abyss, and figure out how they do that.
And before we get into that, how they do that, let's figure out the what did they do and why did they do it. So let's look at a couple of clips here explaining the jumps that we have towards the front of A main. Yes, this is not only onto Icy, but Leaf has also done it for G2. And he missed that jump, but the idea is to try to get your operator or the person that has the get out of jail free card right into the top of the platform that Icy is about to do.
Chamber TP, jet dash.
Exactly. So we want to explain why they're taking this position and why they're doing this jump. So in the first place, if we're looking at the screen, I'm already in the right position as where Icy would be on these boxes. The idea around that is that you have to play in tandem, like a bicycle here in tandem, so that you have another person baiting around this area, so that if there's players moving forward or an Aldrone comes out, it's a, hey, look at me, come chase after me.
Do you have to talk like that too?
Dude, that's exactly what's going on in all my ranked games.
That would mess up my comms.
And then sometimes they're just like, hey, please heal me at the same time, my E can. Anyways, well, I digress. So when I'm baiting my opponents and I'm trying to turn this corner, most of the opponents will be focusing at headshot level. That's the basis of it, to try to take down your opponent. Now you have to try to clear other angles. But the idea around this is that you're still at headshot angle. So if you're actually on the top of these boxes, you have the advantage now of the verticality and the opportunity to get first shot, maybe get leg shot at the same time, but you could still get away, get your kill, escape as I hit the wall, because
yeah, you know, it's in the way.
Right now.
But it's a really good spot too, because there's a lot of other things, like your teammate can break a Sova drone if it's coming. If that Sova dart lands on the back wall above your teammate, you're actually further behind it, so it's not going to ping you out.
It's not going to ping you, so you still get the opportunity. Now, the other reason why you're trying to do the jump instead of just trying to come out simply over here and just try to get your shot is that headshot level, right? But the second thing is also when you're able to jump around the corner and on the back, you don't make any noise. You won't be able to get heard by your opponents jumping down, so you can actually have a small window to be able to get on top of these boxes. So I jump in across. I'm not going to do it because I'm a noob and I'm super nervous. So actually, Ender, I'm going to have you try to do it for me.
Wait, you're going to make me do it?
Yeah. So you start off on this box. Dude, I've done enough. This is my first week on the analyst test, so like, cut me some slack, dog.
Oh, I already fell off. See, this is great news. See, I'm not used to this setup. I'm falling off again. This is bad news.
Step one, can't do it. So sometimes you have to go back to the basics and learn how to jump. And then the extra skill set is now to be able to do and perform the skill jump, which is straight jumping across the corner.
I'm so good!
You got it, and now you have to go
first try! And I didn't even use glide. I swear. We tried this 6 times in rehearsal. I didn't land it 1 time. First time at live. I'm the GOAT.
At least for Ender, it's pure luck. But for a pro player, there's a lot of consistency. So I actually want to bring our pro player from Game Changers, Emily, to try this out.
Pro player with some actual talent.
If I get outdone by Ender,
how do I do
this
this
is not
how
good
do
look for me. Okay.
Just so you know, Emily, if you mess up, everyone will make fun of you.
Okay.
No pressure. So
pressure.
Barrier's about to come up in 3, 2, 1, boom.
Oh,
so now to float over, jump on the top, boom, you're already set. Now the Astros on the other side, hey, bait me, look at me. And then this is something that you could do here as a duo in your ranked games to just capitalize on your opponents and rank up all the way to Radiant.
And I didn't hit the wall.
Boom.
There we go.
Wow, good job, everyone.
Well
how they do that?
You're telling me that's how they did that?
That's how they did that right there, and it was quite good.
Yeah, I would recommend for all of you, do that on jet so you can glide and not instantly die.
Yeah.
Also, don't think that if you're playing chamber, you can, just TP back if you miss the jump, because you can't jump while you're in the air, so that's bad news.
Yeah, that was, didn't know that. Although that would be some really sick plays, though. Can you imagine jumping off the map, fadeaway shot?
Yeah.
Come back in, that'd be really dope. I'm Now, in any case, I know, it's just being Omen at that point, you might as well. All right, folks, so not only do we have this awesome matchup between Aspas and Ye, historic as well, we also have, I would even argue, something I would say is even cooler. It's our coaches battle, because Potter and Frod, two legendary esports competitors that have been playing across Counter-Strike and various games throughout their entire career, coaching these two teams. Frod's a world champion.
Yeah.
Potter is a world champion.
Multi-world champion.
I mean, this is pretty awesome, right? It doesn't get better than this. Emily, I want to get your thoughts on the importance of good coaching. How what are the things that you've seen from folks like Frod, folks like Potter, but most importantly from your own experience?
From my own experience, I feel like coaching can really make or break a team. Like, you need to be able to match it with all the players and have good chemistry there.
Yeah.
Specifically with Frod and Potter, they had a really fun year. I think it was in 2023 when EG won champs, correct? Yeah, but that year, Frod started off by winning Americas, and then Potter kind of one-upped him by winning at champs.
Yeah.
And now I feel like they're both in a similar position, and I'm just excited to see which one overtakes.
And that's true. They are both in a similar position right now, both in this rebuild phase, right? And are having to bring in these new pieces, young players, while at the same time incorporating veterans.
Yeah.
How do you? This is a cool rivalry, though, without a doubt.
No, 100%. And I think that one of the cool things to me is watching how certain things will change as you bring in players, and how certain things stay similar, right? Because even if you're looking at someone like Potter, I remember the earlier days of North American Valorant when it was the EG Icebox, just playing really, really cool things, but then it became the EG Fracture. So she's always had these maps that she's super, super good at and does a really incredible prep on, and EG can always be a lethal team on those maps that she defies the meta just slightly, whether it's a Sova on a Fracture, a Sage Wall boost on Icebox.
And ISO, a Harbor on Icebox, exactly.
Literally.
There was a lot of cool stuff coming out from Potter, and even the stuff she was trying when it didn't work, like the Pearl when Gecko first came out, and you're trying to do a lot of set plays, and it just got owned by, I think it was even Lab at that point. So and then they just scrapped that strategy. So there's a lot of good fun and games between these two teams, and a lot of strategy, and a lot of two coaches that have to work around the clock just to make sure that they have to focus on each other every time.
Yeah, when I think of coaching and the absolute best of the best, these two are the ones that pop up into my mind
Not me?
immediately. Actually, and you too, my friend.
Come on, man.
Just so everyone knows, Ender's team, Teddy Tactics, managed to make it top four.
Top
right?
four.
Yeah.
GC
Top four.
main event.
And GC main event.
go.
So shout out to Teddy Tactics. Congratulations. Really happy for y'all. No, seriously, I got to give you flowers too, man. Look at that. There you go.
No way. I just snuck
folks.
myself in there.
Let's go ahead and move on and talk a little bit more about MIBR's Aspas and Noswer, because look, guys, they go way back, all right? And we wanted to see how well they actually know each other with a fun game of duo queues. Enjoy.
Oi, eu sou o Aspas. Sabe, aqui Manito NCR. E isso é o Duo Kill. Qual é o melhor agente do NZR? Eu já escrevi. 3, 2, 1.
Sova.
Sova.
É Sova mesmo. Não, porque o show começou o show. Tipo, literalmente, então, o Sova é o melhor agente, né? O Sky, mas, tipo, acho que o Sova é melhor porque sempre joguei com ele.
Eu gosto do jeito que ele usa as habilidades do Sova e como ele se movimenta com o agente.
Tô pulando.
O que o Aspas faz quando ele não está jogando Valorant?
Eu acho que esse aqui é, né? Nossa, acho que ele colocou outra coisa. Você colocou outra coisa, certeza. Você tá querendo muito. Eu coloquei outra coisa.
3, 2, 1.
Eu coloquei que ele vai jogar TFT. Não sei. Ele tá jogando TFT muito agora. Mas... É isso?
Eu coloquei dorme ou fica com a esposa.
Ah, tá. Mas você tá jogando TFT.
Eu também jogo TFT. É uma opção também.
É uma opção?
Porque o fica com a esposa, a gente joga TFT juntos também.
Ok. Tá, então...
Tá valendo, tá valendo.
Tá valendo um pouquinho aí. Tá.
Qual é o animal preferido do NZR?
Nem eu sei.
He doesn't even know as well.
Okay, I'm gonna put
How I
I'm
will
gonna put now. So did I learn today? Pronto.
3, 2, 1.
Um tigre, coloquei.
Ah, eu coloquei tigre também!
Sério que você colocar isso?
Eu coloquei tigre também.
Ah, boa, a gente tá sincronizando então. pelo
céu
agora eu
tigre de fogo.
eu
sabia, nossa, eu tava dentro da sua cabeça.
Não, agora que o treinador chinês falou que sou tigre, tu é tigre, né?
Mano, eu tava dentro da sua cabeça já.
Ok.
Quem é o teammate preferido do Aspas na MIBR?
Eu vou colocar. Vou ver se.
3, 2, 1.
Ok, eu.
Eu coloquei você também.
Tá.
Você escreveu. Eu achei que você ia escrever NZR também.
Coloquei eu, show. Sou eu.
Ok.
Tá, boa. Under pressure.
And then I write all my teammates' name, and I don't write NZR.
Ok.
Against MIBR, I mean, they have an anomaly as a player because Aspas is like considered the best player in the world, still.
Aspas consegue punir muito bem, pega mais vai Aspas, o terceiro vem também. É o Aspas acabando com o jogo 10-2.
Loud surely going to test this now. They've heard the footsteps, but Yay holds his ground. The guy has a throne to reclaim, and that's a good start.
E aí, eu acho que assisti ele bastante, então acho que vai ser da hora jogar contra ele, mesmo ele não estando no Prime de 2022, assim, mas vai ser um jogo interessante.
People still think of as like El Diablo, right? Like, this guy is our lurker and was the best gamer for Americas. So, I mean, that's a scary thing to deal with when he's on.
And his teammates are alone, doesn't matter. Because Nature's hitting a shot. Finally, Ye arrives, and he'll pick up a double.
With this win, we're very, very confident to just keep going forward and forward. It's a different feeling now, like backs against the wall, and I think we appreciate that more.
Agora a confiança realmente destravou, acho que todo mundo, assim, né, por não ter ganhado ainda, a gente ter perdido o primeiro jogo. Então a gente tá bem confiante para qualquer um que vir, agora é EG e os próximos a gente vai vendo.
All right, now normally we'll be out to the stage, bringing some teams out and getting ready to go, but there's just a little bit of a delay on the stage, so we are going to be here for just a little bit longer, and then we're going to get into the action.
That means less Royal Rumble for you.
I'm telling you right now, short leash, fans, short leash, Poppy. Now, look, here's
so close. Right next to you.
Now, we usually do our predictions at the end of the pre-show, but we push it a little further ahead here. So let's go ahead and show our predictions for this matchup, because I think that's a great place to get the conversation going here. Whoa, we do have some MIBR dissension from the Brits. They have decided that they wanted to, I think that's also could be Sideshow trying to defend himself, shield himself from the ire of the Brazilian fan base.
Right.
Mad at him anyway.
Or maybe he's just being honest about his opinions.
Sideshow being honest?
Yeah.
You seen him?
Yeah, I've watched his co-streams.
Like
he's
a Monopoly villain come to life.
Pretty honest on those.
True. No, but okay. But the MIBR picks obviously aren't fraudulent. And in fact, I'm actually quite surprised. I'm surprised to see so much. I'm surprised. We all went EG.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not a given that it's going to be EG's victory. I like that you say fraudulent because you have MIBR that has who?
Aspas.
As a coach?
I'm going to punch a table. I'm going to punch a table.
Fraudulent, but not a fraudulent coach. That's let's make that
clear. Not a fraudulent coach.
Not a fraudulent coach.
Yeah, ain't no fraud about that.
But I think as you guys were talking before here,
call the cops. Call cops on him.
As you guys are talking before here on the desk, how much experience he's going to be able to bring here for these players, and overall, what I'm expecting to see now is him being able to elevate one of these two players that we haven't talked about, which is Cortesia. Cortesia, when you're going into the offseason, he was popping off. He made some heads turn. Everybody was super excited to see Cortesia as this Sentinel role.
Yeah.
Just very crispy on the aim. The online event that they played during the offseason for the Tishinga event, he was unstoppable. But we didn't really get to see him too much going into the last few series and games here for MIBR. So I'm hoping that, Frod, I mean, knowing him personally, he also works outside of the game with his players to make sure that they're comfortable with their team. You were talking about that chemistry for teammates inside and outside of the server to make sure that they're going to be more comfortable in their role where they are, leaving home from Brazil to come here. So I'm hoping that we've had enough time here to see Cortesia.
Yeah, you want to see it, but you're still like, I think EG gave me a little bit more, and that's why I'm going that way. What about for you, Emily? Is it kind of the same assessment? EG's just giving you a little bit more to believe in right now?
No, I agree. I definitely think they're more well put together, like less of a risk. Whereas for MIBR, I think again, like they have the potential if one of the other players definitely steps up in their maps. Like
which you're saying, like Cortesio or like
Shanam, any one of them. I think if one of them step up, I think they could take it.
Yeah, it's truthfully a consistency thing, right?
Yeah.
Because with MIBR, we saw one really sort of dreadful debut where the rookies didn't step up to the level, and the next game was much better. But at face value, if I'm gonna have to bet on one team, I'm gonna go with an EG where I have more belief in what I saw out of Ye and Icy the other day than what I saw from the new guys from MIBR.
Now,
way less risky.
Yeah, and now focusing though on what we might be seeing here, right, in these maps and also these compositions. I mean, the talk of the town has been Tejo. Everyone's been going nuts about him. Are we going to get some Chamber today, perhaps? It didn't look that great last time.
I think we're getting Chamber. I just think that right now the way that EG are building their team is very much giving a lot of freedoms to Ye and what he feels good on. Even the Phoenix is a very self-serving pick. So I think EG are more focused on making sure Ye is taking the fights he wants to take, Icy's taking the fights he wants to take, than they are about like a ton of like really in-depth set plays with the more harder to execute agents and utility.
For sure.
I'm also expecting that we're going to be playing comfort zone as well for these two teams. There's a reason why I took the clips and talk about Abyss. It's a map that they both picked that they look really good on in it. So I think they want to go toe-to-toe, head-to-head into that one so that those superstars, Ye and Aspas, could fight.
Yeah, there's an opportunity here to have a good old-fashioned barn burner, just like good old JR says, people. Teams are ready to go. It's elimination day, baby. You got Evil Geniuses versus MIBR Crew Visa versus NRG. Let's get this party started, baby.
Riot Games Arena, chegou a hora de dar boas-vindas ao primeiro time do dia. Façam muito barulho para o MIBR!
Big opportunity here for MIBR. Shut down EG, move on in this competition, one step closer to making it to Masters Bangkok, but doesn't feel like the momentum coming into this one is on their side, despite the fact that they had a pretty decent showing in their last game.
Yeah, and I think overall for MIBR, when you're looking at this roster, even Aspas being very vocal about it going into the season, it's a work in progress. We're still learning each other. We're still learning to feel the groove around working these maps against our opponents. So I feel that there's a lot of focus on themselves more than their opponents. Yeah. And I'm hoping to see that build up here. That has built up in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. I've got faith in this team. I'm really excited to see these rookie players start stepping up.
Couldn't agree more with that one.
And now it's time to bring out their opponents. Make some noise for NA's Evil Geniuses!
Opportunity for EG abound here, and especially for that young man who came out first, IC, to really punch his stamp here in the league and let people know, hey, I am the real deal. I am here to frag out. I am here to help this team push past our opponents in a way that probably wasn't set up to before, right? Now he might feel a little bit more emboldened this time.
Yeah, again, the way he's been fighting with Ye has been really, really strong. But there's an Aspas on the other side. If there's ever a challenge for a younger player, for any player in Valorant, it's facing up against Valorant's best.
I know, it's been a tough one for sure. Emily, here, you got challenges across the board. Both teams bringing a lot of firepower to the table here. Where do you see the difference kind of playing out? We've really honed in on the individuals, but, we talked about them playing together, needing to play together, focus on themselves. What is your major takeaway here as we get ready for these maps to be shown?
Well, like I said, they shine best with the fundamentals, with the basics. And Abyss, this will be so good.
It's almost, you guys kind of called it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well done. So we're getting Abyss here.
Almost watch VODs and study the game.
Yeah. All right. Well, what should we be expecting with Abyss here, Emily?
I think on defense, we'll definitely be seeing Icy and Ye taking that A main space, pretty often. I think on their attack, same thing. They're going to be going in together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it, we were showing in the demo station about like the jumps that EG were going for that A main control.
That's icy.
So MIBR know that is something they're going to be facing off against. I think battling for that A main control on their attacking side will be very important. But truthfully, when I look at this whole map pool, I see two very AWP-dominated maps, and that only reinforces that on map 1 and 3, on Abyss and Pearl, it is going to be very focused around our duelists.
Yeah, and
Chambers.
And that's the other thing, right? Is it gonna? That's what I really enjoy about this team. You just don't really know what you're gonna get on each end, right? It can either be icy. You see, we've seen him roll with the op before on G2 and do that in the past, but you also have Ye on the other side. But here are your agents. So already, again, nothing really all that crazy here that we're seeing, but and Artson on KO. So name more iconic duo.
And that's what I was mentioning before here. Shanam was finding his groove here in the second map when they played against Cloud9, bringing out this Astra, and they played a basic composition, but played it very, very well. And you saw him in these clutches, that what he was able to provide as this Astra. Nothing changes here for EG either, so both of them going for this jet battle, getting easier jumps, for example, than a chamber jump, but this is going to be off heavy.
All right, folks, it's now time for map number 1. Finally, the yapping is done. So let's go ahead and send it over to your cast. It's the tag team duo looking to go for the gold. It's Doug and Baby Bay.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. I think one of the privileges of getting to Cast Americas week over week is you have the opportunity to watch a story unfold over weeks, over months, over years, and really see a career develop. And I think this map is the perfect punctuation point for Ye and Aspas, the legacies that they've had and the legacies they'll have the opportunity to continue to build today.
Yeah, 2022 was such a big year for Valorant in general because of those two that you just mentioned. The head-to-head duels we saw them have, they really cemented themselves in Valorant history, and now on new teams they're looking to write a new story.
And it's a perfect opportunity to pen that chapter. It's time for the Samsung match start. Load up fast with Samsung SSDs. The first map of this best of 3 will be Abyss. EG on the attacking side. Last time we saw them dance on this stage, it was a 13-7 against Furia, and they didn't have to show a Tundra.
And I think it was very smart of Potter to choose the attacking side as well, because MIBR's defense the last time around against Cloud9, it was abysmal. They almost let Cloud9 back into the game after being up 10-2 or 9-3. Something of the sort. A very, very slow approach from EG, just doing a default across the map right now, seeking out any of that aggression from Aspas. But he's just holding the line at B.
Icy's another duelist that the Des talked about a little bit, but often maybe gets overshadowed or forgotten about given the names that are playing in the server today. But Icy's a guy who's been around a bit. Remember, he was on that secondary roster for EG. He was part of building that. And yes, he didn't have the same performance on G2 last year, but this is another guy who's looking to make a statement. And what a hell of a place to be able to do that. Then up against Aspas here.
Aspas is going to have to go huge here in this smoke, but it's actually Nosware that does it. And Icy, the man that you mentioned with the quick flank and the quick 3K.
You talk about answering the call at just the right moment.
Jeez, and he's looked so good. Almost reinvigorated. I mean, the confidence that you get after playing with a G2 and all that stage experience that he was able to get. Now you see why he's on this EG roster. Now you see what Potter sees in him.
Derek will fall. He was a little weak, but not around for much longer. Ye will join him. His 4v2 is quickly equalized. Remember, Icy's very weak. Superman is as well. Oh, the bullets are just barely dancing around his head. Artsine taking a little bit of damage. It's gone to half. They try pushing into smoke. Now 1v1. Artsine can hold this if the bullets do not connect, but Icy saves the day. A 4K and the pistol for EG.
What a fashion to start off this series. You would think that it would be Aspas that was getting the 4K, but it's Icy to answer.
Right, you tell me a jet pops off in the pistol in this matchup, the first name I go with is not Icy.
And this is such a good map for Aspas as well on the defensive side.
Nice, Icy, let's go.
Aspas, he can really get going with that operator once he gets it online. But EG, they're the ones that are setting the tone, making sure that he can't get it right away.
Early flash, a little bit of aggression from MIBR.
And now you're seeing why EG approached the pistol round so methodically. They know that MIBR like to go for aggressive little plays like that, and wow, that's the head-to-head. Aspas already besting Ye.
What do EG do on the other side of this? They've lost their controller. They still have Superman to play around, but the Astra Stars offer a little bit more as far as what's available. So with the tension turned towards B and a lot of space taken mid, our team's got to be careful. Yeah, Nazar's going to fall too. If you're EG here, you're just wanting to carry over as many rifles as you can, and that's certainly going to hurt. This is getting messy, much messier than it ever should have been.
Derek.
All of a sudden, a 3v2. Nature's still got a rifle in hand. Things have been upgraded. He's not looking the right way, and it's all going to fall into 1v1. The leader on the side of EG against the household name of Aspas. Position entirely concealed. No real way to know where he is. Now a leg spotted. A little bit of damage dealt on the swing. Not much found now. A little over 20 seconds left. Nature should be able to get the spike down. And a weapon upgraded for the duelist. Such an early round to go down into a situation like this. Again, the Vandal against the Bulldog. Nature creeping his way forward and looking for any swing, any challenge from the GOAT. First bullet just whizzing by his ear. Nature having to take a step back, giving up some of the space. And that's now Aspas on the tap. A shoulder thrown. He's gotten it to half. And he's staying alive! Another massive situation from EG, and yes, that was way messier than it ever should have been, but that's now 2 1v1s going their way.
And it got messy because of that opener from Aspas onto Ye. That's the matchup that we were hyping up already. What a shot to hit. What a pace already from MIBR. But Nature showing full disrespect. I mean, he re-peeked Aspas so many times trying to prevent him from getting a rifle in the first place. And to one-tap him in that fashion, that shows the disrespect and confidence that this EG team are showing MIBR right now.
They're going to need that in droves because they don't have the artillery that they normally would in this round. It was a Pyrrhic victory. Now they only have one rifle for Icy.
Superman getting deposited all the way up in mid here. This drone gets broken very early on, so maybe Superman can get the jump on one of these defenders like he did in the previous round.
Aspas is on an island here.
Yeah, but he's on an island with an outlaw. That weapon is so terrifying in this man's hands.
And he's got dash. Got a couple of ways to get out. I think, again, EG are showing a lot of interest in exploring the middle of the map.
Yeah, it's definitely been mid-centric so far for this EG roster. Icy.
Nas feeling pressure. Aspas has to take a step back, realizing the threat is afoot. And it's not too far off. Big kill out from Superman early on, who has been the source of criticism a couple of times here, but the counter. Icy now down. And MIBR looking to gain traction in this round, and it seems like they're going to succeed. Derek, the last one standing in a 1v3. He's got a spike in hand. Making that's a lot of noise made. You're going to know where you are now. Finds one, but the trades come through. MIBR are on the board.
Yeah, good trades, but a lot of damage done by EG into this round. It's going to be a scrappy buy-up here for MIBR. I mean, look at the money. Aspas sitting at 3,100. He's going to have to reinvest in an outlaw or have somebody transfer him one of those rifles saved. That is such a huge entry from Superman, and you're 100% correct. He hasn't really had that highlight performance yet on this EG squad this year. And yeah, it's limited. We don't have that much information on how he's going to be looking, but getting an impactful frag like that, that's a good start for this young lad.
Yeah, he is staggered out of the gates. But at least early on, seems to be finding his footing as we do have a bit of a tech pause on the stage.
Hey, we're keeping the streak going again.
I do think that for EG to be at their best, I think all of the pieces need to come together. This isn't a roster that's built in such a way where you have one star that can go nuts and the rest of them just kind of perform and it's enough. Everyone needs to be clicking, and I think for EG, again, Superman has been a part of that conversation, but that's a great start for him so far.
And the stats are indicative of that as well. If you look at the stats from every single match that EG has played, it's always been like very close. Sometimes Icy is kind of leaning a little bit apart, but barely, by like 5 kills maybe. So yeah, it is always a team effort from the side of EG. It was like that last year. It's like that this year. And it's just how Potter likes to coach. It's a good system that they have going on for everybody to shine and have their specific moments. I mean, on the other end with MIBR, we had a monstrous performance from Shanam last time around. One that even Nazwar and Aspas were just ecstatic by. I was in the post-match interview with Aspas and Nazwer, and they were like, yeah, we were so happy to see not only Shanam play well, Cortesia playing good, Artzine having his crazy Bucky moments.
Yeah, I think one of the things that stood out to me, I had the opportunity to talk with Potter and Frod earlier today and kind of pick their brains. And the one thing that stuck out to me that I'd love to get your thoughts on, Dre, is MIBR and Frod specifically. Potter agreed, but they were very intentional about talking about the chemistry and the camaraderie that's built on a team and just how valuable that is. You can have 5 shooters, but ideally, you're building a core, right? And that's the core that you're sticking with. And yeah, you can maybe move things around, but again, to quote Frod, one of the things he said was, you want to avoid roster changes if at all possible, because the grass is not always greener. And I think for MIBR, they have this interesting amalgam of, you've got Aspas, who's Aspas, right?
The GOAT.
Speaks for itself. You've got Nazwer, who has found success in a couple of different teams, but then you're piecemealing everything else. And for as good as they may be, this is a new project that they're trying to have to figure out, how do they drive on the fly?
And I think it's very smart to go for new talent like Shanam, like Cortesia, who have a lot of promise and already who have surpassed expectations, I would say. Yeah, their first match was extremely shaky, but Synergy, it's not built instantly. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So you have to work slowly by slowly, and being able to identify that, it just makes it easier for those newer pieces to come together and not feel so pressured that they have to step up and play to the level of a guy like Aspas.
And I do think that's part of the challenge that every team has to solve in the offseason who undergoes roster changes, is how quickly can you make those 5 individual pieces one piece, right? And for MIBR, that's something they're having to figure out, EG to a similar degree.
And especially with the way that the format is in VCT, especially kickoff, I mean, you can go 0-2 barbecue and you're done. So trying to prolong this tournament as long as you can for MIBR, I'm sure that's one of their major goals. They want to live to fight another day, get more of that synergy flowing within the team.
And that is what's at stake here. You're right. This is an elimination match. All you're doing is trying to live to fight another day.
Icy can't live there.
No. That's a great start out from the Sentinel. It seems like they're still trying to commit on getting the spike down. Nature will succeed. But MIBR, they're at the doorstep. Poised to flood out as quickly as they can. And so now with the Cosmic Divide, you have to figure out if you're going to try to fight in front of the wall or play back. They've got a couple of members on the other side of things. Derek's going to get flushed out of that corner. Good bit of damage done, a little friendly fire.
2 for 1.
But now Ye and Superman left in this 2v4. And again, position concealed, now given away. He's found 1. 2 more to be claimed. He's gotten it down to the hardest part. He's going to try to TP away. Oh, just barely finds the timing to get out. By the skin of his teeth, and now repositions. Doesn't know where he is. Position now given away. On the tab, another Red Bull clutch for Evil Geniuses, and who else but Superman to answer the call.
Somebody check his PC, man. There's no way that's legal. What a clutch from Superman. All headshots, all one-taps. He had a Guardian to his name. Such an impactful round to win for his team. And this is something that I've had the pleasure of watching firsthand when he's sitting right next to me when he was on FaZe. And I was waiting for the moments of brilliance to shine in VCT. Look at how calm and composed he is. He has so much experience, this kid. EG further the lead with that round win, with that monstrous clutch from Superman.
The 3 rounds that EG have won have been heroics.
Yeah.
You talk about Icy's 4K, now back-to-back rounds from Superman.
The hero EG needed on this map of Abyss. Icy not opting to invest into anything other than these jet knives in this round. A lot of the members on MIBR sitting at no armor, so it really only takes 2 body shots of the knives. Can be very easy to rack up some kills, get some momentum in your own favor as that main duelist. Not that he needs it. I mean, he already started off hot.
They're going to try to find a timing on the other side of this dart. Look at how far up down mid he is.
Yeah, but look at who picked up the gap. It's Ye at the other end. Oh my gosh, the timing.
Tried picking up the gap, ended up picking up his feet. Now he's in the next round. Meanwhile, the Paranoia out towards B. They're going to dash out onto the site.
30 seconds left.
And they've got room to work with. No ults on the side of MIBR.
MIBR almost did it last time around.
But this time, Icy's got his blades. And they look sharp. 3 left, swinging out. Maybe a little bit more than he bargained for. And MIBR, again, as has been the case, every single round they start to claw their way back in. But it's heroics again!
They're sticking it. They have to.
He's going to stick it, and he's not going to get challenged. Is the spam going to connect? Not this time. MIBR steal the round away.
Oh my goodness. They finally done it. They almost anti-eco at the first place, but it's Ye to fall once again first. Getting caught with utility this time. And EG just getting smothered on the actual site. That all happens because of the risk that MIBR are willing to take on the anti-eco. EG, they default, they wait for it, but the timing that MIBR aggresses, it's perfect.
I believe that knife tagged Nature back in B main. So our team will not have that knife for a couple seconds. Dart invested from Nazar too. It's a lot of their info gathering.
Ye's had enough of getting caught. He wants to be the peaker this time around.
I mean, Nazar's also just used his drone.
Oh, but another head-to-head won by Aspas. That's 2-0 right now, Doug.
Camera taken out.
Again, knowing where Nature is, he has not moved. He's been here since the beginning of the round. The flash just barely not connecting.
Yeah, he's going to get walked on right here. Cortesia, like you said, understands he's there, but if you look at mid right now as well, a lot of space gathered.
This is, I mean, as much attention and distraction as Nature can cause, this works out quite well. Yeah, he pays for it with his life, but again, you mentioned the mini-map. Although, that said,
here comes the hit squad right here.
Easier.
Super and Icy.
They're heading back B. I don't know that they were expecting another one, and now they have a really good idea. They know that the Sentinel's here. The spike is now down back in B main as Derek falls. And now it's well out of reach. This round got out of hand very quickly. A flawless one as MIBR ties at 3.
And Doug, you know how I am. I'm staring at the mini-map always. Cortesia wasn't even looking at Derek there. Derek saw his barrel at the start of that. And Cortesia just hits a 90-degree flick on him. Look at this. Boom! Derek knew the entire way through that he was there. Still gets sat down. That could be a factor playing into your brain. Like, yo, I saw this guy there the entire time.
It's a big shot to connect.
And look at who's at the top of the scoreboard for MIBR. It's the rookies. The ones that impressed us the most in closing out that game against Cloud9. They're stepping up to the plate again here against EG. In a very, very early timeout here for Potter. Trying to make sure things don't get out of hand.
Well, I wanted to ask you that too, because it hasn't felt like things are getting out of hand. I mean, they're still in this fight. It's not like we're talking 6-0 and all of a sudden this avalanche is starting to build. So what is Potter trying to attack here?
So you're right. It's been a fight for fight. It's 3-3, but it's the rounds that EG have lost that they shouldn't, right? You get eco'd almost the first time. Then you actually get eco'd.
Yep.
And that can be very tilting for the mental of a team like EG. They need to stay calm, composed. They need to remember the game plan and not let things slip away for them.
Questions abound on what sort of changes will take place on the other side of this timeout. Again, tied at 3 apiece. There's been fireworks and there's been flash in almost every single round we've had. Other than what, the last one, the flawless round? And again, it felt like EG were a bit lost in the sauce, so to speak. But this time, lots of presence towards B.
Yeah, they know what they want to do here. I think it's going to be a heavy B execute. Superman.
Oh, they concealed the flash off the recalled smoke. Aspas still gets the best of Icy.
That's 2 tags as well from Nazwar. A lot of members on this EG roster sitting very low. Nature and Derek.
They haven't fully committed onto this. The spike is just now making its way towards B.
Yeah, but that Astro Wall, It's making MIBR have to play retake here. That drone's going to give a lot of info on where this post-plant positioning is.
And then remember, they're running a double controller comp, so they can obfuscate everything here. Make things so much more difficult, so much more labored for MIBR.
Yeah, but Aspas, I feel like he's on a bender right now. Superman, he gets taken down very early on here.
Derek and Nature both weak. Aspas carefully making sure no stone goes unturned as Derek has 3 on the round. He's going to have to do a bit more, though. It's all FTA, who's had a very slow start to this map. Suck going to pull him off. Did not get half here. Time becomes a massive factor. The shot's not connecting. Can El Diablo deliver? That's one found. He has to step off of it. 8 bullets left. Nosware has to stick it. And Ye's the easiest kill he'll get. The Red Bull clutch for EG.
Another B-site post-plant, another clutch for EG. I mean, if that's your win condition, you have the players to do so.
Right, if it
Who
works.
other than El Diablo?
If it works, it works, and that's been the case for them here.
3 big plays so far from EG at this B-site. No wonder why they're leaning heavy towards there. And that was the call at the timeout. Frod made a call of his own, trying to get aggressive, trying to disrupt that type of hit. Aspas getting a little crazy there with the knives, but EG, they secure the round, and now mid-denial from MIBR. Aspas should have heard that TP.
Early knife may not going to tag anything, but Aspas will get the best of Supa.
Yeah, Supa finally punished for taking that teleport. He's going to have to choose different pathing in the future rounds. A follow-up drone to clear out more of that mid information. Not have to worry about that anymore. And a quick rotation from Aspas. He's going hunting over here towards that A site.
And if the round continues the way it looks like it will, he will be right. The spike is towards A. The majority of EG's personnel is there too.
Oh, Icy does get spotted by that camera, but it's all a ruse. It's baiting rotations out from the side of MIBR.
It's supposed to be, but they're not moving. Aspas, in fact, took more of an aggressive line, and now it gets the best of Derek. Dashing away, staying alive. Still 2 smokes to play around.
Little pop shots.
A little bit more playing around him. Again, now MIBR, the defense is back towards A. A 5v3 and a difficult one at that for the attack.
Yeah, EG moving a little bit too forward, but that's a way in. No flashes now here.
It's a step of a way in. They've got the Sucks going to keep him at bay, dashing into the smoke. The second one, where's the follow-up swing? The timing was almost perfect. Aspas gets another. Now Icy left in 1v3. From up top, perched on Jenny, able to find one. He's got a little bit of time, but doesn't even know that he has that window. He's got to commit to getting a spike down now.
Yeah, it's too late now. He's going to have to kill both. One person's just going to run at him here, delay the spike plant. It's inevitable. Nosware will take out Icy. Aspas, the proactivity with that Outlaw is what opened up this round for MIBR to just dominate. He takes out Superman in mid, who has been creeping up almost every single round, and then gets this aggressive angle that you were talking about, making it nearly impossible for the attacking side to bring it back.
And I think, again, it's worth repeating. The aggressive angle that he took was in the face of noise that was made from their duelists on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I think EG in that moment just jumped the gun a little bit too early. They needed to let it cook just a little bit longer. Have those rotations actually full commit towards that B site.
Eco for EG here.
Yeah, and a lot of info gathered from MIBR.
Going back to their tried and true B.
I mean, it has worked 3 rounds for them on this attack half.
It's just going to be much tougher to do that. I see the tip of the spear with the Guardian, netting no success.
Yeah, they have to get out of here now. That defense is way too fortified. Yay, he is the deposit.
Recovering it.
A cut of sound, but the thing is for MIBR, especially after this neural theft is used, all that A main space was gathered. Aspas was in there the entire way through, by the way. And look at how deep he is. That flash was to get some info. Aspas nearly avoiding that. And Nature. Derek, I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah, you're not surviving that.
Yeah, that's tough.
My camera is destroyed.
MIBR know exactly where you are.
30 seconds left.
4 members towards B. This is a really good anti-eco.
This is probably as close to unwinnable of a round as I think we'll ever see.
It would take a miracle out of Superman right here And he gets the first.
It's gonna, I mean, Lightning's gonna have to strike there more than once.
Spike down B.
And so MIBR will take the lead back off the back of a 3K from Artsine, who has very quietly been putting together a significant map.
Yeah, he has one of the most rough debuts I've ever seen on KO, but he's definitely coming to beat. And yeah, it's an eco, but you're getting confidence kills right here. Can help you further down the road.
Well, I mean, even in the face of confidence kills, and yeah, I think there's some validity to that, but also the map is just hella close right now. And so these are the types of maps where if you don't convert on an anti-eco, stuff gets sideways.
Yeah.
So you've got to be able to navigate moments like that well.
A la EG, who if they don't get anti-eco, this could easily be a 7-2.
Right. Derek with ult here. Superman 2, and now Nature has his. There's a lot behind this punch if they choose to deliver it.
Good delay right now from MIBR.
Yep.
That KO Molly thwarted the defense, and that ultimate invested as well. Now Aspas, he has more room to play with.
MIBR have not taken any space elsewhere on the map, have not explored down mid, have not taken A main. And so in a lot of ways, this cutting of noise is starving for info. They're fully sending onto this now. All 3 ults invested. Artsine, the first line of defense. Meanwhile, Superman had fully committed to the TP. Taps on the spike, not fully dropping it quite yet. Op in the hands of Aspas. A retake into 4 members of EG with the sniper. Time is slowly slipping away here. That's a big kill traded back and forth, but again, the numbers do not add up when you're at a deficit like this.
Last player standing.
Superman just still dropping players. I was so impressed that he committed that TP, but that set play from EG, baiting out that utility, that was super smart.
Well, and the truth is, if Superman does not commit to that TP, our team probably gets another.
Yeah. Yay. Finally taking out Aspas, upgrading to that operator as well. And that's something I have to mention. Yeah, yesterday we talked about how DGZine is sitting at the top of the leaderboard, 26 op kills, I believe it was.
Right.
The follow-up was Aspas with 11, but you know who else is trailing closely behind? Icy has 10 operator kills, Ye has 9.
It's crazy to think that 2 of those are on the same team.
Yeah. And this is where we saw Ye get a lot of things working for EG with this attack side operator.
A donated one at that. Aspas has his too.
This is so sick. This might be the head-to-head. Ye's going to be holding that A main for the time being, but maybe when the rotation's set in the mid-round, we'll see a duel. A classic duel between the 2.
It's just a smoke keeping them apart.
Yeah, this is the cool thing about running the double smoke composition from EG. You can use the double approach in mid, creep all the way forward, get real up close and personal. Make it uncomfortable.
He hasn't even procced the dash. What a freak. He just holds it.
And remember, last time around, Superman peeked him from that close left angle. So you're absolutely right. The gall you have to hold that angle without popping your dash.
Fearless.
He already got punished from that spot before, but this might be the duel. What a weird off angle to hold as well.
Surely you don't clear this. Taking a step back.
You are divided.
Another freeze on the round, another ult invested.
Yeah, this is all just to get that spike planted potentially, but if you look at the weaponry right now from Artisine.
Yeah, the position too. Forget about just having the judge. Aspas gets high ground.
Spike down A.
But he's instantly dropped. Superman slow waltzes into this crosshair.
Spike planted.
Spike now committed, and again, a numbers deficit for EG. Yeah, they're getting into these close-win positions, but they're often crippled at it. The shotgun is still here. It will connect.
Jeez. And a drive-by to close out the round. Aspas, because of that cosmic divide, he's able to updraft. Nobody from the side of EG can hear that. He's at the other end. He's so up high. I'm very impressed that Nature got that trade in the first place, but Aspas is getting damaged.
Bro, because you're not looking up there. There's no reason to be looking up there.
You don't hear it at all. Very impressed with how Artsine played that as well. He didn't run through. He wanted to. He had the judge. He knows he probably could have ran through that cosmic divide, gotten a timing, but plays the numbers game. 4v2. not trying to let anything slip away, not trying to give EG an inch.
Last round of the half, Icy has blades. And a stinger for Nature.
Get out of my way.
Not the weaponry you want to be bringing into a round as pivotal as this.
Yeah, ideally, you would like to make it an even half. A bait of a TP this time around, but it's full focus towards this B.
Color me shocked. Icy dashing forward again. He's got the blades, and he will find a target. But he's just going to get spammed through. Had nowhere else to go.
Great trade from Superman onto Cortesia.
And Nature's upgraded a weapon. The stinger now gone. Sight's now set on B.
Spike planted.
I mean, do they even give Aspas a line? Do they even challenge this?
Oh, and there's 2 controllers still alive as well. You can really smoke off every angle. He has to take some chip damage to upgrade to a Phantom. And that's so funny to say, upgrading to a Phantom when you have the operator.
Probably more of an appropriate weapon given the situation. Does not have dash anymore, so there is no go button for him. They're going to have to do it the slow and steady way. And again, the spike has been ticking for a little bit, but that's 1 kill found. Nature will fall 3v3. And again, it all feels a little clumsy, a little bit cluttered.
Taking a little too long.
Way too long.
It's done. They're not even going for it. They're just going for the kills. Aspas will pick up Superman, but EG win another post plant outside of that B main, the bread and butter. They stuck to it.
Was that all rounds they won? Or maybe, what, except for one?
Maybe, maybe except for one.
That's a massive kill from Icy. To be able to stunt some of that flood and to do so with the blades. Again, a duelist who people criticized a lot on G2 last year, stepping up in big moments there.
Yeah, he's really shined on this EG roster, getting off of that leash, getting more confidence in his own gameplay after that G2 run.
9-11 so far for the duelist. Still a second half to be played. We will see you guys on the other side of this. Do not go anywhere.
Oof, stuck paying for that old phone? Don't be. You know, at Verizon, we'll pay off your phone. And you'll get iPhone 16 on us. That's a value of up to $1,600, only on Verizon.
We've had a ton of conversation around Aspas and Ye and Aspas and Icy, and I think we touched a little bit on maybe like the secondary fight in this title card, and I want to draw a little bit of attention to it here because of how close the map is. Potter and Frod have been in the space together since like 2003.
Legends.
I mean, there are players on this
all the way back to 1.6.
There are players on the stage who were not born. But when these guys were starting to get into the fold of esports and starting their initial clashes, and one of the fun things about these two, and again, their record, is that they always seem to match up when the stakes are at their absolute highest. And again, we've got to talk about stakes. Elimination here for one of these two teams with Bangkok in mind. That's the goal here early on, and yeah, maybe nobody really expects either team to do it, but that's what's at stake. And so with that in mind, MIBR accelerating towards B.
No one here for EG to flood in, but it looks like all that space was gathered in mid, maybe trying to set up a flank, maybe trying to do a little bit of a pincer, but look at how deep Shanam is playing right now.
I'm fully convinced that that's likely what's going to happen and concerned for it.
And once that trip breaks, that's the cue to full focus forward.
That's a really nice paranoia. They got a flood in behind him, though. 1 kill found, another one traded. Aspas still healthy, and then keep an eye on that flank you were talking about because they've been able to deal with everything that's in front of them. It's now just Icy and Derek, and they should have a good idea of where they are. The question is, are they expecting both? I think 2 have been spotted now. And Shanam's playing his cards beautifully. So patient, so diligent. Pistol away of the Brazilians.
Good proactive post plant from MIBR, the double swinging into everybody retaking from CT. And once that trip breaks on the flank, that was another cue. Hey, we have to take the fight to them. We don't want to get corralled just in case Shanam falls on behind.
1 enemy remaining.
Aspas, he's really taken this lead into his own hands. He was sitting kind of quiet at the bottom at the beginning of that last half, and now he's sitting all the way at the top, 16-9. Superman, 15-11 right now for EG. 2 players that have really impressed so far in this match.
Blocking vision.
Ye hasn't really had the opportunity to get things going, but he's hoping here on this defensive side. Maybe the first gun round, he can put a dent into this offense of MIBR.
If MIBR continue into this, you've got Evil Geniuses rotating over, maybe not arrived yet. But now they're here. They've been able to stall long enough, but Icy was out by himself. There was no real way to help. The rest of them still playing up the smoke. Aspas dashing forward, claiming yet another kill. As this has gotten closer than it should have been, all the rifles are gone. All of the upgraded weapons are gone. It's just a Sheriff.
And an upgrade now. Superman sitting on that Phantom.
Nature even getting a Ghost now. I to get ecoed in a spot like this would be difficult to deal with. Gets his one, but cannot convert. A thrifty round for EG.
A huge thrifty in the second half. And I said, Ye was hoping to put a dent into the offense of MIBR. He gets the opener right there with the classic.
Down A.
On the art scene. Superman, he's hot right now.
1 enemy.
Nature was standing on Noswork before killing him.
And that's so important. Karma is real. EG get their get back after getting thriftied as well by MIBR.
Big round for them.
Yeah, Potter can't even believe it.
And now the tables have turned. MIBR are the ones who are just on pistols. And it's Icy who's got the outlaw.
Yeah. Sees the shoulder of Cortesia in mid. Can't quite connect, but the threat is there. That cage doesn't really do anything. Another cycle of a smoke from Superman. But it's very spread right now from the attackers. Trying to secure some of these orbs.
Trying to gain some space, too.
Yeah, trying to get any type of advantage they can. Drone out B main should be avoided by MIBR, but false information gained from EG. And if you look, because of MIBR dodging that drone, they're all heavy leaning towards this A site. Numbers will be in their advantage, but still, the weaponry, the utility, not.
The blindfold is still on Evil Geniuses. Look at where the majority of the members are.
Yeah, this is going to have to be a huge performance from Ye. Looks like they might just want to get out. Spike could be planted here. Derek looking to get some chip damage from Heaven.
It's going to hurt a little bit. It will slow things down. But it's not going to stop it entirely. Remember here, it's Evil Geniuses who have the better weaponry.
Spike planted.
Yeah, that's why they played out of sight right here. Don't want to get picked. Don't want to give MIBR any type of upgrade. Good flashes.
That's going to be tough, though, if you try to flood into this and things don't go your way. You're donating weapons. Ye falls. That's filthy out from Derek.
Flicky.
That's all right. You hit the hard one. That's all that matters.
Oh, but a suck. Wait, it's not over yet.
No, Shanam's left in a 1v2. It did get to half. He's got to hit these shots, and he cannot.
Yeah. Superman just way too sharp right now. And a good retake. It was costly, but EG, they don't get thrifted here. No back-to-back. Derek, the duality of man, huh? Derek gets a snappy little flick, can't connect on someone crouched right in front of him, but it won't matter. And Doug, we were talking so much about the head-to-head of Aspas, Ye, maybe Aspas, Icy, just because of the roles in the previous history. But it's Aspas and Superman who are going toe-to-toe right now, so close in score.
Icy with an op here. Looks like he's going to be playing towards A, but the majority of the threat is B. Now Aspas has blades.
Superman. He's got that Vandal. He's got that Paranoia. He's anchoring backside B. Dagger will connect onto him.
Nature's close by, too. And he was not tagged by the knife. Superman feeling all sorts of pressure as Aspas tries to find a little bit of pathing, a little bit of space, that the flash is perfect
from nature.
And now with the knives blunted, where do they go?
That's your star player down as well. Maybe one of the rookies can bring it back. But yay, he's gathered all this space. Deep A main. Icy doesn't connect onto this shot, but if he starts getting warmed up with it, once his presence is known on that operator, we've seen him have crucial impact for this defensive side of EG. And it's a heavy lean towards B. No reason to go anywhere else. You have full control of mid.
Yeah.
Ye has the deep line at A. He can even fall back, delay even further.
No, you're absolutely right. This freeze doesn't do a ton here because of what you were saying, because of the space that EG have elsewhere. And now they're going to be able to fully commit onto this with 30 seconds left. Options are running real slim. Derek with 3 on the round. And Noswer, again, impossible situation.
Derek getting 4. Looking crispy with the Phantom. Calm, cool, and collected. Those shots were easy for him. Just another day in the lab. But once Aspas gets taken out there, it just looked like MIBR were kind of lost on what they should do.
Well, I mean, it's hard to, right? Like, what's your second step, right? When your jet is gone, how else do you find ways to create space?
And that might be the problem as well with being a new team. You don't really have that deep of a playbook. You can't fall back on maybe going all the way back to A, pushing Ye off of that line, re-clearing some of that space. You kind of get scared. You don't have the experience yet. EG, tons of experience on that side. Nature, Icy and Superman's second year in the league. Derek, I mean, he's been around for forever. Yay. Think about his resurgence. Think about all the trials and tribulations he had to go through to get back to NA, to try to reclaim the throne.
Which I think is yet to be decided on whether or not he can, to be honest. I think, again, the structure isn't really built for the CG squad for that to be what happens, but to suggest that Ye is performing the way he was in his glory days, so to speak, in the peak chamber meta and stuff like that would be disingenuous.
Yeah. Only time will tell, and who knows? Maybe on future maps we'll see more chamber. We saw Leaf have such a crazy performance on it.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about this EG roster that Potter is working with. So much flexibility in what the players can do.
Track them down.
After a timeout, looks like we're going to see Icy getting a little funky here in this A main with that operator. Jet smoke to dodge a potential dart.
Full 2 targets found, has to try to get up, has to try to get away. And he can't, but he claimed one with them, and that was the initiator. Meanwhile, Derek teeing them up, trying to land the last one at Aspas, and he cannot.
Yeah, but Superman, he took out the lurk of Cortesia in mid, so again, EG had a huge advantage. Full map control their way. MIBR gonna have to contact up somewhere, hope to win a 50-50. But both controllers still alive on the side of EG, so that one way, you see the hesitation in MIBR, they're scared to move forward.
Oh, 1000%. Much easier contemplated than completed here.
Yay! What an off angle on the Aspas.
Full rifles here for EG. Very likely that they get up to 10 and start to build on this gap between these two teams.
That door not being broken either. Even if sound is made, there's protocol set in place for EG to deal with this. And only a Bucky.
I mean, Derek's, yes, but Derek's in a weird spot here. He's got no real way out. He's got to be careful. You've got Ye close by. He'll take care of the first, and now that pressure's alleviated. Ye gets the third on the round. EG gets to 10, and now full steam ahead. The money's in a really good spot here. Ye just got his op back. EG are very well poised to take this map away.
Yeah, and speak of the devil, Ye stepping up huge in this moment. That was a monstrous flick from Icy. I mean, you see so many targets in front of you. It could be very easy to fumble that bag. There's that lurk kill. Then Ye just closing out the round, getting things going for himself. He's playing the role very well. Yeah, he got caught off a lot on that attacking side, but sometimes it's just unlucky. You get timing going into that astral form. Not letting it get to him.
No, he has done what his team has asked him to do, and quite well. MIBR still able to hobble a bye together, but again, if this doesn't go their way, they will be devastated financially, and that's not the start they were looking for.
Another first blood for EG. And this time, no smokes to play for MIBR, so if you do decide to go for a side execute, Aspas is going to be left to his devices. So many angles he's going to have to worry about. Derek showing a little bit of shoulder.
Right here.
See if he can get any cheeky chip damage in here with these Soba shock darts.
We've seen this look from MIBR a couple of times. It's either 1-3 or 1-4, but you regularly have the Sentinel on this late lurk. And that seems to be the playbook now for them as well.
Yeah, but look at how deep EG are holding back from. It's an off angle. Cortesia has to walk into these lines.
Yeah.
They're not giving him a direct duel.
Right.
You might not expect them to be this deep.
Yeah, I think they also know that that's a weak spot for them, that they have not considered what could be there. Or they haven't checked it. They're considering it by where they're positioned now.
The setup is sick. The pack is going to have to explode out of this A main to draw attention for Cortesia to get anything going, and that is exactly the case.
Supa was the one to hold that cross, and he falls. There's going to be a later lurk now, 13 seconds left, and they've gotten the sight. They were able to pick them apart systematically and methodically, and now they have the advantage. They have plenty of money, so yeah, I mean, I guess you go for it. Why not? A trip going to keep Nature at bay for now. Cleared out. But what's the way in for EG here?
I think right now for EG, I think you save this operator no matter what on Icy.
I think so, yeah.
But I think Nature, you try to go for broke. Try to get as many orbs as possible. You only have a Phantom. You're sitting at 6.1K to your name. I mean, start getting some kills here. Get confidence. Why not? But that was a beautiful comeback into a round from MIBR, Doug. You're 100% correct. And I'm surprised right now that MIBR are hunting because their economy isn't good enough to be doing something like this. They're really fishing for that operator. Or maybe they're just so worried about what could be behind them. And the distraction in a main from the pack of MIBR, it was enough for Cortesia to find that lurk timing opening. A little awkward. Didn't quite catch that one. But yeah, Cortesia finding that timing on the Supa and then Ye slipping right on through the defense. And Doug, you have to remember there was a two-man swing play off of if that lurk from Cortesia happened too soon.
Well, I heard you guys yell no. You guys don't like tech pauses? No. I do think we are going to play a little game with you guys as we get through this tech pause. And so in case we're trying this. This is very new, so if you guys don't know how this works, just roll with me for a second here. We're going to flash bundles on the screen, and I want you guys to pick which one you prefer. Cheer, go nuts, do whatever you're going to do. But while we get that up and while we get through this tech pause, I do think there's a lot to be said about how EG have been carefully working their way through this. Yes, MIBR have started to kind of claw their way back into this, but this was off the back of 4 rounds from EG, Dre.
Yeah, they look great. They keep getting the first blood, and I think amongst this tech pause, it's going to be something that's talked about from the side of MIBR. How do we stop getting picked first? Because you can't always fall back on that beautiful round that we just witnessed. EG are going to be smarter to that this time around.
Well, you got to pick one.
Which one? Pick
you got to pick one.
Point. Oh, both.
Honestly, yeah, they're both kind of fire. I'm not gonna lie to you.
They are pretty gassed. Wow. A lot of Aspas fans here, huh? Oh. Wait. Why are we just getting played with like this?
I didn't think you guys would be playing with people's emotions like this. We've given you guys too much power.
The back and forth. I mean, that's how this game has gone so far. It has been quite a bit of back and forth. It looked like EG were running away with it, but with the comeback in that round for MIBR, that could be a big swing round for them to gain back confidence, stop getting first blooded, and do some side executes of their own here.
A lean towards B from MIBR. But it's just an early knife, and as soon as that knife was thrown, instantly went to make pressure mid.
just still so worried. The power of the double controller on this map is putting doubt in the minds of the attacking side. But with that one smoke denying a crucial angle for the defense to get a pick or info.
They can't see that. They're going to be splitting in through A, and they have no idea yet.
Oh,
Icy's surrounded. And Ye's going to try to alleviate some of that and try to hold them back, but he can't stand either. Ultimately falling at the hands of Aspas. That's a beautiful call, and that's off of a smoke that we haven't really seen mid.
Yeah, and that's that's one way to not get picked off. You have your KO being the forefront, so even if there's an operator from Icy or a cheeky little off angle, you're able to pick them back up after you get that trade. A great call after the tech pause and a great change of pace for MIBR. They kept getting first blooded on the slow defaults. This time, getting full aggro. Full side exec onto A with that split. Derek will take out one, but
yeah, there's no time left in this round. I think one big thing that you were mentioning is on the other side of this timeout, we have to consider what the call was, right? And how things are influenced like that. And again, my eyes go back towards the IGLs. We're nearing the end of this map. That's getting really expensive.
Yeah, good damage done from EG. Something I thought they should have done in the previous round, but it's never too late. And yeah, MIBR, they win 2 in a row now, so they're kind of chipping away at the economy of EG, but they're still sitting healthy on this next round. That was an awesome split from MIBR. Great call. And now it's something that EG have to worry about. This is why you see Potter taking a timeout. She understands that there has been a change of tempo in MIBR's attacking side. How are you going to deal with that? Have to be a little bit more dialed in, maybe a little bit quicker on re-clearing that mid information once it's gathered, once it's denied, actually, I should say, from MIBR. That one smoke that we saw deep mid, Superman and Derek stuck behind it, not ready to rotate in time to help out the A anchors. And now you got to be worried, okay, is there going to be a fast B execute coming through from the side of MIBR?
Or do they re-hit mid, right? Do they continue to hit that split? It's tough to tell. Again, EG just trying to hang on to this one-round lead on a map that MIBR picked, a map that EG also has shown proficiency on.
Yeah, a map that MIBR are fantastic on the attacking side. Aspas, the back-to-back America's MVP. As we go into this next round, it is going to be a heavy A and mid approach once again from MIBR. 3 members here this time for EG. They don't want MIBR to have any of this A main control. That knife can't quite connect. The back-to-back A splits, Doug?
But there's a lot more space that EG have taken towards mid, so this is a perfect adaptation to that. Remember how they were crunched? This time they take the fight to A main, but Shanam's trying to keep them back. Yeah, the spike's on the ground, but he's got to realize there's a lot more threat behind that smoke. A fight on multiple fronts, and it's gone the way of MIBR once more.
All up to Ye in this big moment.
He's got to connect on this, but again, Nature pinching in. Now a 2v3. They haven't been able to find their way out. Yeah, they're at a numbers deficit, but the clip runs dry at the worst possible time.
He's going to get spammed behind this box. 26 HP.
There's nowhere to go. Nowhere to go.
Oh my gosh, I like the proactivity from EG trying to isolate the A main fight. Nature even meeting up with Ye, kind of bailing him out in that moment when he ran out of ammo, but the pace and the pressure that Aspas and the rest of MIBR are putting on EG on these A splits, it's too much to handle. Ye, he missed a crucial shot on the players that were flanking, and that made the numbers game in advantage of MIBR.
Let's fly.
Economy. Finally, worse for wear for EG, and MIBR have a chance to amass a lead, get on match point.
No mid smoke out from the attack. You don't want to be hitting the split here. They're just going to try to fight towards A. And Aspas again with Shanam just devouring evil geniuses.
And Nature heard in mid as well. It's a dismantling of the defense right now for MIBR. Fighting fire with fire is not going in favor of EG. And it might be too late to fall back on something safer.
MIBR flirting with 11. EG's buy's not going to be great. And so barring a Thrifty, we're looking at MIBR likely on map point.
Exactly. It's going to be so difficult right now for EG. It's going to be an uphill battle. They have Thriftied once before in this half, though. A little bit of a hunt going on, but slipping right past by the remaining 2 members of EG. And it's so difficult right now if you're Nature being the IGL.
You've got to be careful again. The weapons are everything. And so it seems like, unless Noswork can do something about it, the smoke in their face, that's 1 rifle down.
Oh, man.
They're only going to carry 1 into the next.
That's brutal for the IGL of EG, Doug, and you want to know why stuff like that happens. I mean, 9 times out of 10, he probably gets that kill in any other situation, but the fact that he has been iced this entire half, MIBR have not ran into Nature whatsoever. Nature has been playing Retake Simulator for the last 4 rounds. He's not dialed in order to hit that shot. Keep that gun into the following round. And look at the implications of that. It is going to have to be a force up by Icy, light armor and knives. Less than ideal.
And they're taking the fight mid.
Yeah, you can't shoot those knives on that rope.
Oh, what a shot!
What a connection.
Hangs onto the rope for dear life, stays alive.
Yay with another as well. Full numbers advantage. The way of EG. They cannot let this one slip away.
MIBR still in a position where they can try to fight this out. Still plenty of time, still plenty of money.
Yeah. And with both initiators down, EG right now have to set up these crossfire plays like they're doing. Play full retake on a site.
A bookshelf keeping these 2 apart.
Yeah, but it's a triple contact play right here with that one way going up as well. Oh, it's a pickup star.
No noise made.
They're going to crunch him at any moment here.
No peek, and so Aspas is going to get away. Meanwhile, Spike going into B.
Spike.
Look at the ults right now from the side of EG that they have. Perfect for the retake.
Should they choose to invest them?
They have to invest them. This is such an important round win.
Shanam is really close by. If you can't get a pick without it, then that's ideal, but Nature just walks in, and this is now getting out of hand. The ult's now gone. Lives now gone. And round likely lost.
And Abyss just slipping right through the fingers unless Icy can be the hero for EG. But he can't do it all, and what a blunder. I understand you want to hold on to those ultimates. Maybe go for the map win, but sometimes you just have to secure it out. Not checking corners in the heat of the moment. Icy and Ye did everything they could to put EG in such a good advantage into this round. The spacing not quite there. That Vice ultimate could be used very early on to make sure there's no guns used. How did they let that one slip away, Doug?
That's one you don't forget. No time to think about it, though. Right into the next we go.
Another scrappy buy.
EG looking to hang on to this map as best as they can. And you're right, the buy's not great. Deep smoke in. Artsine first.
And they're walking up. This is something that you have to do against all this Vice utility. That dagger lands on both players at B.
That should be the cue, because now all that Vice utility is gone.
A great pick on the flank, though. So now EG, they don't have to worry about that for the rest of the half. The rest of the round.
Remember the ults. Nature has his instantly used. Gonna try to survive here. Oh my goodness! Yeah, he hasn't missed a step. 4v4, the Cosmic Divide keeping them apart. Spike just barely on the other side. No flank can have to consider as Nature will fall. 3 rifles still in play for the defense, but they're dropping like flies. Nowhere to go. Nothing is safe. Again, Ye caught out with utility. Superman's gonna have to be a hero again. Try to pull this one back on his own, but he's not being afforded an opportunity. He's not being given a fight. The tap of the Spike walks right into his death. EG, they let this one get away, and MIBR capitalize.
Artsine had no right to do what he just did to EG. Absolute disrespect. What a madman. Jumps through the Astral Wall, gets a 1-pump shorty kill. finds the timing on Deye. He did so much work on that B post plant. And for EG and Potter, you gotta recollect yourself if you want any chance of bringing this series back.
Yeah, this one's tough because
they had all the momentum.
If memory serves right, this is the third map in a row that gets away from them when it probably shouldn't. A close one that they find themselves in that just barely slips out of their grip.
How many advantages EG had in this map alone that were just given away for free? It's mind-boggling.
That's a tough pill to swallow. Again, you got to give MIBR their flowers, man.
Yeah.
To be able to capitalize this. Again, I think Cortesia had an outrageous map. We will see if map 2, and the rest of the series tells the same tale. We'll be back shortly.
Red Bull gives you wings.